Madagascar is an extraordinary place and one of the most challenging. For 8 days I travelled across northern Madagascar through terrible roads, remote villages and breathtaking landscapes. I saw animals found nowhere else on earth, walked through ancient stone forests and explored red canyons. But I also saw poverty and some of the realities of life. Madagascar is beautiful, it's raw and it's not for everyone. So, if you're considering a trip here, let me show you what you can really expect in only 8 minutes. Our journey began in Nosy and Hellville Market. As you see, we quickly became surrounded by children all selling the same things to us. After a look around the market, I retreated back to the bus. We then went to the Fauna and Flora Park, where we interacted with some of Madagascar's most interesting animals. And as you see these, I want to cover health and safety in Madagascar. Malaria is a serious consideration. I was taking tablets every day for prevention. You may also need vaccinations. Our organised trip with Itaka was in the north, the safest part of Madagascar. Local guides told us security can be an issue further south, including the capital, where military escorts are used. So, research the current situation before travelling. Moving on, and the next day we took a ferry to Ankarana and visit a cocoa plantation. Seeing where they grow chocolate and cinnamon, and we learned the ways of the local villagers.
The children in the village, they cut the trunk of the jackfruit like this, and then they collect the liquid and they go to the rice field, they put it on the branch, and then the bird, after eating the rice, they want to lay on the branch, they will stop because it's like a glue. And then after they eat the bird.
We then travelled to Ankarana National Park. By this point, we were using a 4x4 to travel. And let me tell you, Madagascar has some seriously bad roads. And this is probably the biggest thing I wasn't prepared for. At times, there's so much dust, you can barely see the vehicle in front of you. Then, the road disappears. Then, you're driving over rocks. And occasionally, you just have to accept that this is apparently a road. I was genuinely surprised we only got one flat tyre. This bridge was destroyed by a cyclone a couple of years ago and it's still not been repaired. But then you arrive somewhere like this and suddenly the journey seems worth it. Tsingy, known as the Stone Forests. One of the largest networks of caves in Africa. For generations, villagers avoided this place, fearing it was haunted. And from one majestic terrain to another. Tsingy Rouge Canyon. Carved out over millions of years by the Orodo River and rainfall. The soft laterite sandstone marl are susceptible to erosion, creating these fairy chimney formations. These are unique places in the world. I'll take a moment to share the food we had. All food for us was arranged by our travel agency, Itaka, making it nice and easy. We had a lot of avocados, fish, bananas, and for breakfast every morning coffee was provided, fruit, pastries and more. I avoided salads and anything that may have been washed in water. There was a constant supply of bottled water and local cola. Local beer was good and cheap, and I have to recommend their local dark chocolate called Robert. The taste is almost as good as the name. My favourite part of lunch had to be feeding the lemurs. They would always pop out from nowhere to say hello and have some bananas. I loved the way they gently take your hand. Further north we went to Diego Suarez. And a quick word about the hotels, because this is something you might be wondering about if you're considering an organised trip here. The Hotel de la Poste in Diego Suarez was my favourite hotel, really nicely furbished and a great view. The police even had a little party here. Doing here what we in the UK call the candy dance. This is the Bell Hotel in Nosy where we stayed on the first and last nights. None of our hotels were bad. We were living in luxury for Madagascar. Every hotel had good air conditioning. The Wi-Fi was down on our first night, which is common in Madagascar. Our next destination was Sakalava Bay, a popular place for windsurfers, riding the trade winds that carried the first settlers to these shores. We then climbed the mountain in Montagne de Français hill, with a beautiful scenic route over Diego Bay and the city of Ankarana. It was quite a climb, with a lot of steps, giving you impressive viewpoints at the top. We returned down, stopped for lunch, greeted by some more local lemurs, of course. Saw an ancient baobab tree, which were around before humans, and drove to the small fishing village of Ramina. I had a quiet sit down here on the beach. We took in the beautiful sunset for a while. We had a dinner at the hotel, and then we went to a nearby bar. Here we took in some nightlife atmosphere and danced to some very touristy music. I tried out some new Madagascar-inspired dance moves, there I am, which the world will likely never see again. Oh dear. And the next day we began our descent back, stopping at the Amber Mountain National Park. Here we're able to find many creatures that are endemic to the rainforests of Madagascar, including one of the world's largest chameleon species and the world's smallest. I also found my inner Tarzan, plus my inner David Attenborough, Vicky Singer Ule, a parasite wrapped around the tree that will eventually kill it. We then continued our journey down south with an entire day dedicated to travelling. Our final destination was Nosy, Iranja, where it felt like we'd been transported to a Caribbean island. One thing I did notice throughout the trip was how many children would approach tourists. If you want to bring something for them, speak to your tour operator about what's appropriate. After 8 days, what do I think of Madagascar? It was a unique experience that I will never forget. Don't underestimate Madagascar. Do your research, understand the risks and challenges, because Madagascar isn't an easy holiday, but perhaps that's exactly why it's worth going. And if you're prepared, it can be an incredible adventure. So, would you come to Madagascar? Let me know in the comments. Or if you're from Madagascar, do you disagree with anything I've said? Let me know. Please give the video a like and subscribe for my next adventure, sailing around the Maldives. Thank you for sticking around. Here's the rating.